Hey guys, Gina here, back with another collection video. Actually, quite a bit of collection. I thought today would be an awesome day to take the time to show you guys my shelves and all of the things I have collected over the years. Point out some of my favorite things, maybe tell a few stories of how I came across them, and just show you guys around so you can get some vintage Halloween eye candy. I've had so much fun collecting over the years, and all of the wonderful things that I've come across. It's so awesome to finally have a place to display them, and these shelves are mimicked after Harry Potter and the Zonko's Magic Shop. If you guys know what I'm talking about, there is a scene in Harry Potter where they have all the magic tricks and the fun things, and these are based off of those. I just picked a different color. I did orange and gold instead of the red that they have, and I think they turned out super awesome, and everything looks so good on them. So yeah, you guys, let's get straight to it. Start looking at some of these shelves. So for the most part, I'm done decorating these shelves, I think, for this year. I still have boxes full of stuff, but I've really been working hard on this, and I think I'm gonna call it good, because I'm just gonna keep pulling stuff out and shoving it in there, and then, you know, we're gonna have a whole bunch of shelves that look like this one right here. So I don't know if that makes you crazy or if you think it's awesome, but yeah, I'm just giving you guys a quick overview of all of the shelves that I have. I do have a couple of pockets left that I want to fill and put some stuff in there, but I don't know, we'll see. I need to get busy with the rest of the house. But yeah, there you go. As you can tell, I kind of have things categorized. So I have a specific way that I kind of decorated this year with these, and yeah, those are all the shelves that I have. And there's a little bit of stuff up on the top as well, but let's give you guys a grand view over here. All right, so let's dive into it. I have, oh, look at, hi Uncle Sam. I have a bunch of blow molds, and these are two of the newest ones that I've come across, and I'm super excited about them because I say never, it's very few and far between that I get to find blow molds in my area. So whenever it is, it's very exciting. A lot of these blow molds I found online. In fact, probably most of them. This one actually is the very first blow mold that I ever picked up, and that was visiting my dad in Iowa. They have a huge antique mall called the Brass Armadillo, and there's probably 5 or 6 of them sprinkled throughout the United States, but that one was from Iowa, and I loved it so much. This is another awesome piece, and I just love this one so much. This I got at an estate sale, I think in 2019, but I had the whole place to myself, and they had nothing but tons and tons of holiday decorations and decor. This was another piece I picked up from that same place, so those were my 2 best items that I got, and this is always such a fun piece. I love putting this on top of my Halloween tree, and then as it rotates around, it says trick on one side and treat on the other. And then we have a skull pail right there. That one's pretty awesome. I don't know who made this one. I don't think this one has a maker. So I think that one is a little bit older. If anybody knows, let me know. There's also a site called Blow Molded, and they have tons and tons of Christmas, holiday, Thanksgiving, any kind of blow mold you can imagine throughout history. And it tells you a little bit about the information, who made it, what year it was made, the variations that they had. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out that site, you definitely should. Moving on up, this is my monster shelf. I have a ton of motionettes, and I have a love-hate relationship with them. They either work or they don't. And they're pretty easy to fix, but I just haven't had time to get in there yet and do anything about it. There's some kid meal toys. A lot of these are Goosebumps right here. And then these are Burger King. This also works. This is a werewolf who sings. I was just gifted this Munsters jigsaw puzzle, which is absolutely incredible. And who couldn't love that face? This is a wrapping skeleton right here, and he's hilarious. And then these two foam busts right there, kind of like blow molds, but kind of not. And unfortunately, he's missing his eye. But I got that from a yard sale. I got both of them actually from a yard sale. Way different times. These devil heads, they always remind me of that episode from The Twilight Zone. The one where they sit in the cafe and they keep asking questions. Do you guys know that one? This is my jack-o'-lantern shelf, and it just has a ton of different things on there. This is a very old piece, something I picked up from a private collector. She was getting rid of a bunch of her stuff, and I just happened to meet her at the right time and place, and I've been able to pick up quite a few things from her collection. This is actually not old and not vintage. It's probably from the 2000s, but I just thought it had such a great feel, and I like the height of it. But it's a pumpkin carving kit, and it's actually a very nice one. It's from Williams-Sonoma, and we do use it every year. I have never seen another little pumpkin guy like this from another collector. They had this at a hardware store locally to me, and they had a bunch of them, and then I was kind of bummed that I didn't get it that year. And then the next year they had this last one left, and so I was like, oh my gosh, it was meant to be. So I grabbed him, but I think he's adorable. He's just a little sitting jack-o'-lantern. These are incredible, these blinking lanterns, and I actually have quite a few of them. And I got 4 of them at one time from an estate sale, which blew my mind. They were all wrapped up in old costumes. So definitely dig through those boxes, because you never know what you're going to find. I don't have many girly candles, only because it's very, very hot where I live. And if I store them, the chances are they're going to melt. This is another great piece. He's missing a whistle right there. It should have a whistle. For all you 80s and 90s kids out there, or moms and dads who had children in the 80s and 90s, I think you will recognize many of these things. These are some of my favorite things to come across at yard sales and estate sales. These plastic little trinkety things, oh my gosh. I get so giddy whenever I see them. Pumpkin flashlights are another thing. I like this one because it reminds me of the Ghostbusters. But I have a whole bunch of flashlights that I stuck up there. And I have more of them too. It's just what fit in the bucket. But those are so awesome and fun to find. And most of the time, those actually work. This Halloween cassette player is one of my absolute favorite things. I had seen someone post this, but it wasn't working, and so I had to look it up, and I patiently waited on eBay, and one finally popped up. They don't pop up very often, but I have seen it listed twice this year. But it is amazing. Do you guys remember these old cake decoration, those hard rock sugar? And your tongue always turns black after you eat them. There's some goosebumps, some paws. Now, I don't remember the paws pumpkin decorating, and I think there's some other kits out there. But some more flashlights. There's a ghost. And then, of course, you know, we have to put McDonald's in there. McDonald's was such a huge part of my childhood and the reason why I love Halloween. We're actually making some giant McBoo buckets. If you guys know what those are, you guys can check out. We have a couple videos. And then Playmobil right here. He's giving a thumbs up, but that's actually brand new in the box. And oh no, I lost a little finger puppet down there, but we'll put him back in a minute. So yeah, that's the 80s and 90s shelf. I'm sure that brought back some memories. Here is my shelf of astrology and palmistry, fortune telling, This is really cool. This is an antique. This is from 1889, and it was a spider game. It had a ball of mercury in it, and yeah, you would play that and try to get the felt pieces to where they're going without letting the spider get you, which was the mercury. I found this old cauldron at a family-run estate sale. It's the perfect size to hold my little kitchen witch inside. Those things scared me. Whenever friends had them hanging in their kitchens, I did not go under them. They just scared me so bad. This is an old beaded spider web. I just thought that looked really cool. This I found at a yard sale, the cup, and then my aunt saw that I was missing it, so she graciously gifted me the little saucer to go with it. And it's got all the signs of the month for astrology. But yeah, I don't have much. I don't really dabble in this, so anytime I come across it and it's really old, like this book is super old. I think that's from like the 1920s. It's just fascinating to me, and I think it looks really cool. This is my little haunted house shelf. As you can see, I got a couple little different things on there. This is one of my absolute favorite decorations because this is one that I grew up with when I was a kid. My mom would put a tea light in there. This is really cool. This actually has 3 bulbs in it, and they're 3 different colors. I think it's red, orange, and green, and they flash and flicker differently, and it just looks so neat at nighttime. Then my aunt, who gave me the little saucer, she also makes ceramics, and she made this. This is a replica of our haunted house that we did back in 2014, and what's really cool is you can put those little fairy lights in the pumpkins and string that through, and you can see. Then a couple of cake toppers right there. I love owls, and this is a shelf that definitely needs a lot of work. I want to style this differently. I'm just not sure how to go about it yet. But again, we have a ceramic made by my aunt, and it's actually a light. We have an old party hat. I believe that is on a cake topper as well. This is a piece I got before I started collecting true vintage Halloween. I believe this is a Joanna Parker piece, and that I got, oh gosh, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, something a long time ago. I'm going to say back in like 2011 or 12. But I just thought that was so cool, and I need to put some candy in there or something. Some die cuts. This is actually a piece from Avon I picked up. Paper Mache Owl. That was an awesome estate sale, and I'll tell you about that with more of my paper mache in just a second. This owl right here was from a teacher. I had a whole bag full of die cuts, and that was in there. I need to frame it and put it up properly. A little bit of glitter. I'm not huge on the glitter, but I think it looks good on here. This is a wreath, which is vintage inspired from old, I think, postcards. Just images. So yeah, that shelf definitely needs some help, but I love the little things that are on here, and I love owls. And my son loves owls too, so that makes it really special. We got some ghost blow molds. This I saw on an advertisement on a Sunday yard sale, and it was 2 cities away, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go. So I got in the car and I drove straight there, and thankfully they had 2 of them and they were only $1 a piece. So that was an awesome score. These 2 guys right here are brand new. They came out last year. And then this guy I got from my buddy, Count Stankus. He also has a YouTube channel of some awesome Halloween stuff. But he gave me that with a bunch of other Halloween things and when they downsized. This die cut in the back is from my childhood. My mom gave that to me a couple of years ago, but that is super fun. This is also a shelf that I need to do something different with, but for now, it'll work. So I have a couple of skull buckets, the plastic blow molded kind, and then this tin I got from a yard sale. I've come across a couple of those ones. There is another one with other designs that I've never come across, and I keep coming across this one. I'm like, oh man, I want to find the other one. Now we're getting to the true antique and vintage Halloween. These are paper mache pumpkins or pressed cardboard, and these 2 right here are reproductions, but this guy right here, he is not. And these are old German ones right here. This is a newer German one to look older, but those ones still go for quite a bit of money. And I love it. That one looks in really good condition. I think it's from the 90s, even though it looks like it's older. But yeah, these are my paper mache pumpkins. And I got a lot of them from an estate sale. I woke up super early and I was second in line, and they only gave us 15 minutes inside the house. And I tell you what, those were the fastest 15 minutes of my life because this was all scattered about and I only had so much time. And then of course, you know, I got some off of eBay. And then the duplicates, I do regret. I've sold about 7 paper mache pumpkins, and now with prices the way they are, kind of wish I would have held on to them. Here's some more of my true antique and vintage Halloween. Some of this stuff is from the 70s and 80s, but a lot of it is a lot older than that. Some games. Do you guys remember those? These are cotton spun heads, and then they're all different skeletons, witches, cats, pumpkins. This is something I would like to start collecting. These are cups and plates, and I do have some, I have some more. Oh, you know what? It's over in the cats. But yeah, I have a couple napkins, a couple plates. These are the only cups that I have. But I think I'd like to start getting into that, collecting them. I just need a fun way to display them. Here's a couple postcards. These are from the early 1900s. One of them I found at an estate sale. The other one I got from that private collector. This is my absolute favorite Halloween song, The Punky Pumpkin and the Wobblin' Goblin, and I had a really hard time coming across that record, so I got on eBay and waited patiently, and then somebody finally put a buy it now, and I was there at the right place at the right time, and I snagged it. Another recent gift were these. These are like Beanie Babies, but they're Universal Monsters, and those are super fun. Behind there, I have a big candy dish that's a plastic pair of vampire teeth. This is not gonna stay here, but I had to tuck them up there for now so I could enjoy them for a little bit. This is one of my favorite pumpkin pails. I got this at an estate sale where I went to the Halloween books first, and then I went to the Halloween, and thankfully this was still there. This cubby has started to become my little collection of, you know, vintage nails, teeth, werewolf snouts, you know, the little costume pieces, vampire fangs. This one is really old. Horror fangs, look at that. Devil fingernails and teeth. So, I don't know if this will stay in here, but it's what's in there for now. Here's an old trick-or-treat pail. This one's made out of cardboard. And there's some corn on top. Why? I don't know. I got it from the person like that, and I just kind of kept it in there. Here is a ton of cake toppers and picks. I just kind of put them in here for now. This little glass jar. These are always super fun to come across. And they're actually going for quite a bit of money now, which is surprising because they're so small, but you know, collectors want them to craft with, and I get it. There's a witch and some other pieces in there. And then this sad little shelf. I want to display these ones specifically because these ones, you know, Garfield in Disguise, my favorite Halloween cartoon, R.L. Stine, Halloween Night. That one I read a ton of times as a tween, you know, when I was like 11. And then Agatha Christie, Halloween Party. That's just super classic. And I love, of course, the black and orange on the book. So those ones need to be displayed better. This is just become a catch-all of scarecrows. And there's all kinds of scarecrow stuff on here. Lights, blow molds, ceramics, die cuts, you name it, trays. I love scarecrows, and there's so many of them over the years. I just love all the colors that they pick for them. And this looks really cool at nighttime. He lights up. I couldn't believe how vibrant this guy was. That was a buy it now off of eBay. It was a really good price and I couldn't turn it down. And of course this guy with his little strawberry nose. Who doesn't love a black cat on Halloween? Here is my shelf full of black cats. There's the other paper plate I was talking about. There's some napkins. And I think I have some napkins that match that plate right there too. That is a candy box. Can you guys believe that? How amazing. There's a pumpkin one that goes with that too. I gotta find that one. This is quite interesting. This is a noisemaker. Unfortunately, my cat's missing his hat, but when you wind it up, it kind of gives it like a crying sound. There's an old chocolate or candy mold. I would love to get more of those. Those are just so neat. This big black cat right here I got at Joann's a while back. And then some other treat bags, some tally markers, some die cuts. And then, okay, you guys are gonna laugh at me. So I found this cat mixed in with a bunch of candy containers, which I will show you next. But I had to laugh because the person who sold me this wanted more money for this than they wanted for the candy containers. And this is actually a reproduction. This is, I mean, you can just tell the glitter and everything on it. But that estate sale that I found all of those paper mache pumpkins at, I did miss out on an authentic cat. And you guys know which one I'm talking about with the big arched back, the paper mache one. So this will have to serve its replacement till I come across one. So I kind of laugh every time I see that one. But speaking of candy containers, I gotta show you this. So they wanted, I don't know, a couple bucks for this, but they only wanted a few bucks for this. And this is what I kept. This isn't even what I came across, but if you guys know, that witch and that pumpkin right there, those go for quite a bit of money. I did not have the cat. I did have the witch already from a while back. This was purchased from that private collection, and then this came with that big pile of wonderful goodies as well. And so now I have a couple of old candy containers, which I love so much. There's a couple of other candy containers that I would love to get, but I gotta stay off of eBay. I gotta try to find them out in the wild, right? All right, here is my little witch collection. You know, I don't have that many witches, but I do have a couple of cute ceramic ones. This is one of my favorite things. This is an old kid's tin cup, and that one is really old. I love this witch blow mold rattle. That is super fun. And then I found this at a thrift store. This belonged to some kind of liquor, but it's a liquor holder. And then she did not have a hat. So my aunt, being the awesome ceramic person she is, she made one for me. And it fits perfectly. How cool are those napkins? It's a witch in a rocket. Here's all my treat bag collection. There's a couple of them sprinkled on the shelves, but for the most part, these are all bags of different trick-or-treat paper sacks. These are always so much fun to find. There's a bunch of them in there, and I'm gonna do a pick-or-treat video on that because I think that would be a lot of fun to show you. Noisemakers, noisemakers, my favorite thing. I really enjoy the detail, the illustration on all of these. There's ratchets and rattles and clickers and tambourines and horns. This is something that I would really like to expand. This noisemaker is a one-of-a-kind and made by my son because he knows how much I love noisemakers. Isn't that cute? It's a little black cat, and he even put the bead right there. Those owls are 3 different variations. I normally try to only collect one of each thing because I like to share, you know, and so I don't want to be a hoarder of, you know, the same thing 20 times. But every once in a while, if it's a variation of something that I really enjoy, I will hold on to it. I have a soft spot for spooky old trees, and this is my spooky old tree collection right here. I have a couple other things, but they don't fit on the shelf, so I just picked a couple of my favorite. I need to get some tea lights and light these all up so at nighttime they look really good. Here is my ghost collection. These are some of my favorite ghosts. Funny story, I actually found this ghost at a yard sale, and he did not have his pumpkin with him. And I went to the yard sale next door, and I was holding him under my arm, and a lady goes, "Did you just buy that from next door?" Yes, I did. Oh, I'm so mad, and I didn't know what she was talking about, but I guess her daughter sold that, and the mom had actually made that. So she goes, "Where's the pumpkin?" I said, "I don't know. The pumpkin should be with it." So I went back over with the mom, and she's like, "I can't believe you're selling my ghost." She goes, "Sorry, Mom, I don't have room for it. I don't want it." And thankfully, she did have the pumpkin. She just forgot it at her house, at her mom's house, or I don't know whose house it was at. It wasn't at the house they were selling, but she did have it. And then I swung by a day later and picked it up. So now it's complete. This is a planter. This is a sweet little ghost my aunt made me, and that lights up as well. Some salt and pepper shakers right here. These skeletons are hard to display. I have moved these around so many times trying to figure out a nice way of displaying them, and well, I don't know. I just haven't gotten there yet. This is a Randotti Skull. This is vintage Disneyland. And we had a friend gift that to us. We just absolutely love it. This I won at a Christmas party with a bunch of Halloween home haunters. And I've held on to that over these years. I thought that was really cool. There's a little marionette skeleton. And this is actually signed by Bethany Lowe. This pin right here. This is fun. This is a little... But yeah, I love skulls and skeletons. These are maracas. Those probably came out in the 90s. And I just love when everything's turned off and the things glow. These are all new. They came out last year and the year before. They're little blow molds. But they just hang up there and they look really good. So I had to display them. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys had a lot of fun looking at all of my Halloween vintage collectibles that I have on my shelves so far. I will probably mix and match and rearrange these things as the years go by, but it's fun to look at them, and I kind of like how everything is themed on the shelves. Owls, skeletons, noisemakers. Makes it easy to say that's where that is. Alright, you guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon. I hope you guys are having a fantastic spooky season, and we will see you next time.